as you can see, we're going to be talking about Kiefer's Magical Birthday Bash, which is coming up at Wild Ride. They've been great partners with the Leutschaft family and Rimrock Trails. So April 5th in Prineville at the Wild Ride location, and April 6th in Redmond at the Wild Ride location. They are going to be putting on Kiefer's Magical Birthday Bash, and Julie is here to speak to us about this. This is obviously something that started with her family and is a great event. I hope if you can come out and support it. There's going to be lots of people there, bands, music, raffles, so it should be a great time. Julie, come on out.
Good morning, everyone. As Amber said, my name is Julie Leutschaft, and I'm Kiefer's mom. And I've had the opportunity and the honor to speak about my son and our family's journey and partner with Rimrock Trails. And so this is probably the 4th or 5th time I've spoken since my son's death in 2021. Just a little context for you. I'm married to my husband, Brian. We've been married for 35 years. We moved to Redmond from the Valley in about 17 years ago. And together we have 3 children. We have Kiefer. Our middle child, Colin, graduated from Oregon State and was actually a beneficiary of the Kiwanis scholarship, so my family appreciates that. And he's currently serving in Alaska as an officer in the U.S. Army. And then our youngest daughter is 21, and she lives in Redmond. She works for St. Charles and is also opening up her own tattoo studio this week in Bend. But I'm here to tell you about Kiefer. And I want to make it very clear, this, as you all probably know, our son died by suicide in 2021 on October 3rd. And this isn't a talk about suicide prevention, but it's definitely a talk about mental health awareness. And how can we elevate mental health to the par of physical health? Our children are in a severe crisis that we've never seen before. And I think all of us know someone who suffers from mental illness, anxiety, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, have a friend, a spouse, a child. So our journey is, our son took his life, and I did not know this until after our son took his life, but using the word committed suicide is very offensive to families who have suffered that loss. So we say died by suicide is more politically correct, and like I said, I didn't know that until our family went through this tremendous loss. So our son had a very, what we believe, normal, loving childhood. All of our children graduated Redmond High School. He played sports. He had a lot of friends. He ended up going to University of Oregon and graduating in 2017. We saw nothing related to mental illness. I had no exposure to it. When he graduated from college, he was suffering, but he didn't really talk about it. We didn't know if it was just general anxiety that every young person has when they graduate college, and what are they going to do for a career. And he was very silent about it. And like I said, we knew he was suffering. He had anxiety that for the last 3 years of his life progressed into debilitating. He would move in and out of the house, which I also thought was kind of normal. In my generation, at 18, you were up and you're out. You either got married, went to college, or got a job. Those were the options, or joined the military. But this generation, so our 18 is now, especially with young men, is 26, the same development level. So I didn't think it was uncommon that he was coming in and out and trying to find his way. Like I said, we knew he was struggling. We got him therapy. He tried medication for a while, but still really didn't tell us the depth of what was going on in his mind. And he's a good-looking kid. He's very charismatic and polite, and he had friends. So we did not know the depth of his sorrow and his struggle until the devastating night, which I will never forget, of him taking his life. And it's something I did not know anything about suicide. I'd never known anyone who has taken their life. I didn't know about mental illness. And we're your average family down the street. And all I can say is be hyper in tune with your children. If they're not seeing their friends, if they're spending a lot of time in their room, if they're on their computer too much, if they're not eating, if they're not sleeping. Because I don't think Kiefer had the words to express how he was feeling. But it's just such a profound, devastating loss that I never want anyone to go through in this room. Not only for the person who's suffering, and I myself have never had mental illness, but I've certainly had days where I've been a little depressed or anxiety, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my son lived with this. Like, I could barely get through 2 days of it, but for him to live with it for years, it breaks my heart, because as a mom, I couldn't help him. And I always thought, he'll get the job, he'll get the girl, it was just taking a little bit longer. I never, ever, ever, ever in a million years thought our son would take his life. So just a message for you guys to be hyper in tune. Again, I'm not here to talk about suicide prevention, because we came up from a good, loving family. We loved our son, and we couldn't prevent this from happening. But it is about mental health awareness, and how can we talk about it? I grew up, there was a stigma. You didn't talk about it. And if you talked about depression, you were weak, especially if you're a man and you're the provider for your family. If you talked about your mental illness, it wasn't acceptable. And we're a lot better, but we're still a long way away from making it acceptable and celebrated. And I'm going to turn it over to Brian to talk a little bit about Kiefer Magic and how we've turned this terrible tragedy into hopefully a community blessing. Kiefer did have the opportunity to work for Wild Ride as a brew tender, and he absolutely loved it. It was the one place, career-wise, where he felt a part of something. He felt loved. He felt proud of the beer, and the work, and talking with the customers, and he lit up. And so I'm going to turn it over to Brian. And both Brian and Michelle have been incredible partners, and second to the God above. Without Brian and Michelle and her work at Rimrock, I don't think my family would have seen the next day, because we would have joined Kiefer. So I'm very thankful, very blessed to partner with Wild Ride and Rimrock. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brian Mitchell. I'm an owner and general manager at Wild Ride. I was here a little over a month ago, maybe last month. Got to talk about a lot of our fundraising efforts that we do at Wild Ride, and I got the opportunity to talk a little bit at that time about Kiefer Magic and how special of an event it is for us. It's always difficult to follow Julie. In talking about Kiefer and whatnot, but yeah, three years ago we were super honored, fortunate to work with Julie and her family, and then Michelle and Rimrock to collaborate on a beer called Kiefer Magic. And this is our third year of brewing Kiefer Magic. This year it's a West Coast style IPA. The two beers, our last year's beer and the first year, were hazy IPAs. Both of those years they were a little bit different, but this year our brew team wanted to change the beer up a little bit, as did Julie and Michelle and the team behind the Kiefer Magic birthday bash and whatnot. So we released that on St. Patrick's Day, which has kind of become a tradition of ours, and released some apparel and merchandise as well, kind of a preview of what's to come with our birthday bash events. Like I said, this is our third year of doing these events. April 5th, as has been talked about, is our event in Prineville. So the event is 5 to 9 in Prineville. Christy Kinsey and her band are playing there. We'll have raffle prizes, swag available. It's going to be a lot of fun. On Saturday, it's in Redmond. Also 5 to 9, we do have a VIP party in the back where there's going to be an auction. That's from 4 to 6, and Michelle will probably talk about that a little bit more as well. But yeah, it's a special deal for us, and I can't highlight that enough. It's the most important event that we do throughout the year for what it is and what it's become, and we're just honored to be a part of it. It's just a special story and a special meaning, and it's something that we'll continue to be part of as long as Julie will want it to continue, and we'll be proud of it. So, any questions, or we'll turn it over to Michelle?
Okay. Thank you, Brian. And I think most of you know this, but Brian and Kelly with Wild Ride are significant presenting sponsors truly for our Oktoberfest event, so we're very thankful for your partnership from Kiwanis too. And I want to thank Julie, Brian, for all you've said, and I also want to thank John, Josh, and Amber, who are significant in helping us sponsor the Kiefer Magic event, donate beautiful items, and also they just make this happen. As the Community Relations Manager for Rimrock Trails and good friends and neighbors of both Brian and Kelly and the Leutschaft family, it's not a surprise that when Julie and Brian brought this idea up, I jumped on it. Rimrock Trails, as you know, is a leading mental health provider here in Central Oregon, and it was just such a natural partnership, but it also was what we needed to do to heal all of our hearts. I love what Julie said. It's not about suicide prevention. It's about preventing the loss of the battle to mental illness. And why is that so significant? It's because, according to the CDC, suicide or death by losing the battle with mental illness is the 11th leading cause of death in the nation. We lost 48,000 individuals last year, 899 here in Oregon. Suicide is also the second leading cause of death for individuals 10 through 14 years of age, and 25 through 34 years of age. It's also the fifth leading cause for individuals 35 and 44, saying that losing your battle, the hurt of mental illness, is a gamut of individuals of all ages. And when we really put it into perspective, we lost 48,000 homicides in the USA were only 26,000. So we're losing more people with their battle to mental illness than we are to homicides in the nation. So just a few months after the tragedy, after we lost Kiefer, Julie and I, on one of our many walks, she came to me and she said she wanted to turn her family's tragedy around, to do something important, not only to honor Kiefer, but to also support all of the other families that have someone in their family that has mental illness or are suffering from thoughts of suicide. After several brainstorming sessions, lots and lots of Wild Ride beer, the three of us came up with Kiefer Magic. We came up with the Kiefer Magical Birthday Bash as well as Kiefer Magic IPA that Brian just talked about. I want to play just a little video of what that looks like. Don't look at my password.
Go to, and that supports mental health awareness events and programs, and also helps ensure that individuals and families locally are able to access behavioral health services services, no matter their financial circumstances. Wild Ride participated with creating Kiefer Magic Hazy IPA. Rimrock Trails put together the birthday bash, and then together with the Leutschaft family found the best way to honor Kiefer. All of the people that you see here today are friends and family who loved him, but also have people in their own lives that are hurting, and they don't want that to happen to them. I just have so much admiration for Julie, Brian, Colin, and Addie for taking something that was so horribly devastating in their own lives, broke their hearts, but making it into something that they're going to help others that are going through the hardship.
So guys, what started out as a one-night event at Kiefer Magical Birthday Bash 3 years ago has now turned into a 2-night extravaganza. As Brian shared, we start off on the 5th of April in Prineville, the Wild Ride, with Christy Kinsey and the Whiskey Band, and then the 6th in Redmond, 105. Now, this is a family-friendly, free event with fun raffles to have. But if you can imagine, after the first event, we made about $25,000, and we all looked at each other and we're like, now what are we going to do with that money? So that's where the Kiefer Magical Legacy Fund, we worked with Josh Werner, who created that fund, the Kiefer Magical Legacy Fund. It's a fund that supports mental health awareness and programs, and the Rimrock Trails Support Fund, ensuring individuals of all ages have access to mental health services, no matter their financial circumstances. But we're super excited, we're very proud. We've raised over $100,000 over the last 3 years, and this year we're giving $5,000 scholarships to individuals in Crook County and high school, students that are going to go into the behavioral health fields. We're super excited to add that to the fund. Now, just a little bit, like how can you help? Like you said, we'd love for you to come and be a part of this. Actually, I want to say this message to the community about the importance of mental health. And we also have a ticketed VIP exclusive pre-party. It's on the 6th in the Wild Ride Barrel Room from 4 to 6. And with it, you'll have sounds from Emily Rogers, 2 pints of Kiefer Magic IPA, appetizers, a live auction, a Kiefer Magic swag bag, including a tote, beanie, button, and a 4-pack of Kiefer Magic IPA. And tickets can be purchased on the Rimrock Trails site. If you are unable to attend but would like to support the Legacy Fund, you can do so. We also have a separate Kiefer page on our website that you can support the fund. Please help us spread the word by liking and sharing our Facebook posts. Julie runs a Kiefer Endowment. Julie, what is the title of that?
Kiefer Magic Endowment.
Kiefer Magic Endowment page, so like and please share that. And then finally, we have a few posters here, so if you have a business that you'd like to put a sign up in or share it with your staff, please, you're welcome to take those. We're down to the wire. We're getting really excited. It's going to be a fabulous night. But most importantly, it's going to be a message to the community about helping one another, being okay not to be okay. And we really appreciate your love and support. Any questions for Julie, Brian, or I? Julie?
I just wanted to mention that $1 from every pint of Kiefer Magic goes to Rimrock.
So if you sold out of beer, how many pints is
Let's go try and find out.
Yeah.
And the merchandise, there's a portion of the proceeds from the Kiefer hats goes to Rimrock as well.
Yeah. Yeah, everything that is Kiefer related, so whether it's pints or we distribute throughout 4 states, so any kegs that we're sending out or cases that we're shipping out to our distributors, we donate back. And apparel, merchandise, but yeah, 4-packs, cases, all that. So everything that's part of Kiefer Magic, everything that's part of the birthday bash is designed to be a fundraiser. So.
And we can't understate Brian and Kelly's participation enough. Wild Ride doesn't just put on the event for us. They do the staging, they do the bands. I mean, everything that goes into it, they underwrite. And so we're just so thankful as our presenting sponsors.
I'll say something. If you haven't been to the event, it's a really fun event, but it always impresses me how many friends the Kiefers come back. In fact, there's another fundraising event. One of Kiefer's friends is doing a marathon. Is that right?
Yeah, so Vince Thomas, our dear friend, was Kiefer's best friend in college, and this is the second time he's doing it. He's running the Eugene Marathon. They have a program called Run for a Reason, and he is looking for people to sponsor his run. And last time I think he raised like $6,000 towards the Kiefer Magical Legacy Fund in order to do that. The event is on April 28th in Eugene.
It's a great way to honor Kiefer, honor the family. It's just really fun to see so many people come back to this event. Some of them all the way from the East Coast, too. So.
Yeah, and you might have seen, we had an article in the Spokesman online, and tomorrow they'll publish if you'd like to learn more about it, they have an article in the Spokesman. All right, guys, can I have Julie and Brian come up? I'm playing double duty today. Okay, friends. Brian's like, I just got one of these. Give it to Joe.
Put it in the auction.
Yeah. These are gifts from Kiwanis, local artists. Brian Watts makes those for us, so yeah.
All right, Michelle,
All
rock
right.
it.
Thank you. So in honor of Kiefer, talk about them, be proud of them. Suicide isn't losing a battle to live, it's losing the epic fight against a mind that begs you to die. And we miss you every day, Kiefer. But I have good news. We raised $103 for John's flag, so thank you, everybody. And with that, we are adjourned.